I hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the Geico restart zone to go. Green flag is out and underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Well, it may be the off-season, but we still have action on track tonight in Goat Locker Racing for a special event. Tonight, our drivers take to the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, for a fundraiser 50-50 race. We have a full field of drivers ready to take on the high banks here in Florida in search of a $420 winner-take-all grand prize, with the remainder of the funds going to support the mission here at Goat Locker of providing sim rigs at no cost to veterans and first responders. It is shaping up to be an action-packed night of racing. We're going to be bringing you all the action live right here on V-Speed. Good evening. Thank you for spending your Saturday evening with us. My name is Daniel Cunningham. Alongside me in the booth, our co-host for the evening, Noah Hogard, Eddie Smith running the production truck, and as always, camera angles courtesy of Dougie Beard. Noah, we've had a couple of weeks off since the end of the season. We've had the Christmas break, the New Year break. It's been a while since we've had some action on track, but I am excited for this one. How you doing tonight, buddy, and what are you looking forward to in this race?
Hey, Dan, I'm doing great, man. I'm just so excited for this race. I love Daytona to death. I absolutely love the racing on it. It's such a chaotic, just mess filled with so many crashes and wrecks and drama, and I'm just so excited to be here with it.
You said it 100% correct. It can be chaotic. We've got 42 drivers in the field here this evening. It is going to be a good one. You can see there, Daytona International Speedway, the site for tonight's race. That 2.5 mile, 31-degree banking in the turns tri-oval, opened in February 22nd of 1959. And it is going to put on a good show here this evening with this field of drivers. And you know, one of the things, too, that we definitely want to mention here, the whole purpose of why we're racing tonight, touched on it a little bit there earlier, is just those sim rig giveaways that we have here in Goat Locker. And even though it is an iRacing league, it's more than that here. It is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. They have given away 15 total sim rigs, 13 full sim rigs, computer, pedals, wheel, everything. Over $40,000 worth of equipment has been awarded out so far here to veterans and first responders. And that's really what we're here for tonight, is helping to continue that mission and just helping to get more people connected with the community here.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love the mission and what we do here. I love racing with my sim rig recipients. it's just such a great feeling that we're giving away these awesome sim rigs to people that just absolutely deserve it in our community.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the coolest things here. We did a charity race back a few months ago to actually give away the first sim rig for a first responder. Most of the other ones have gone to veterans, so really cool to get into that field as well. Just awesome, the community that Pat and Jamie and everybody here at Goat Locker is building. But Noah, we do still have the action on track that we want to talk about tonight, so why don't you give the fans at home just a little overview of what we're looking at with tonight's race details?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking at 76 laps of pure, unfathomable, great length of race here. 76 laps, pit road speed of 55 miles per hour. Who cares about tire sets? That's irrelevant. 3 green white checker attempts, of course, and 2 fast repairs with 420 big ones to the winner. I am really excited to see who's going to win this one. $420 is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, that is definitely a sizable prize to the winner of this race. We also are going to have one random draw driver that is not the race winner that will end up with a reimbursement of their entry. So it'll be one random draw driver at the end of the night that will receive their $20 entry fee back for this race. We'll announce that when we go through the end of the race results. But drivers are done with their qualifying runs, and we have a pole award to hand out. That is the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. We want to give them a shout out. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. And you can see there, Andrew McGarrigle is going to be your pole winner for this evening, with Michael John starting to his outside in P2. Rolling off in third is going to be Jamie Libke with Tyler Justice in the number 4 position. Curtis Mitchell and Mike Browning make up row number 3 and 5th and 6th. Dave Calvert, Casey Jones, they're rolling off in 7th and 8th. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be Wesley Burke and Daniel Parks.
And then in the 11th position, we have Gregory Vadnais. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Then in the 12th spot, we'll have Logan Threlko. 13th, 14th, we have George Jewell and Alan Smith, the number 9 car. Then in 15th and 16th, we'll have Joshua Thornton and Jacob Lemke. 17th and 18th, we'll have Cody Anderson and JC Kristen. And in 19th and 20th spot, we'll have Tom Howe and Charles Abrams.
Starting in 21st is going to be Skylar Daly with Patrick Wilkinson in 22nd. Rolling off in 23rd, Mark Hollifield with Zachary Menace in the 24th position. Starting in 25th, Samuel Yosef, Kyle Deering in 26th to his outside. Hayden Muir is going to be in 27th. Kevin Price rolling off in 28th. And in the 29th position, Brian Provo with Cody Rogers in 30th.
And then we'll look at the rest of the field here. We have the 31st spot to Brandon Wallace, and number 32 will be Wyatt Dooling. And in the 33 and 34 spot, we'll have Frederick Seagraves Jr. and Charles Feltz. And in 35th and 36th, we'll have Chance Taylor and Jeremy Gardner. 37th and 38th, Corinne Smith and Melissa Dyer. 39th and 40th, Thaddeus Field Jr. and Bill Buffield. And to be our caboose for the night is in the 41st spot is Bobby Bender.
And that is our starting grid. Man, I feel like we had to breeze through that with how many trucks we've got here, but that is our 41 truck grid here this evening for this race. And you know, Noah, something that is a bit of a tradition here, at least for me with Goat Locker, is you've heard me talk about on broadcast before, is a little bit of the broadcaster curses that we put on people. At the risk of putting a curse on somebody early on, we got to do picks to win tonight. Do you have a driver that you're watching that you feel like might just take home the grand prize here this evening?
I have my eye on somebody right now, actually. I think I got Logan Stanton throw killed, win it all. That's where all my poker chips are going on tonight. I think he might make a run for it. That's my pick. I don't know if you'll agree with that pick, but that's who I think is going to win tonight.
I think it's a solid pick. You know what? Give me Charles Abert in the 7 truck for my pick to win here this evening. He won one of the super speedway races in our premier series here at Goat Locker This is bad. This is bad stats on my part. I don't remember if it was in the Truck Series or the Cup Series. I believe it was actually the Truck Opener on Friday nights. That granted, that was at Talladega, not Daytona, but I think history is going to repeat itself. Give me Abert for the win here this evening.
Yeah, I think that's a solid pick. A thing about Daytona that I love is that like almost anybody can win this race. It's not really about the skill or saving tires. It's just about your positioning. It's just about how you can get around other cars, get through wrecks and whatever. So I'm just really excited to see who's going to win it all tonight. I literally think it just could be anybody.
You are 100% correct on that, Noah. 41 drivers pacing under the caution here. The lights are out on the pace truck rather. We are getting ready to turn them loose for 76 laps here at the World Center of Racing. That pace truck has pulled off. Green flag is in the air. We are racing here at Daytona. Field 2x2 off of turn number 4. Already starting to see some different strategies play out. Some drivers dropping to the back, some drivers trying to get up front and lead. But our pole sitter, Andrew McGarrigle, with a push from Jamie Lipke into 16 behind, able to lead the first lap of this race. But that is Michael Johns up on the high side in that 58 truck. Tyler Justice given a huge push through turns 1 and 2, trying to get them to the lead.
Yeah, we see him 2 wide here. I'm really curious if they're going to go 3 wide or even 4 wide. We've seen it before in other tracks. I'm just really curious to see when that move will be. We're still in that 2 lines, but someone's going to make that move eventually, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen with that.
Well, one thing I can tell you, Noah, if they try 4 wide here, I don't think it's going to work too well. Daytona, a little bit more narrow of a track than someplace like Talladega, where you can easily make 3 wide work. You can definitely give 4 wide a try. But here, especially in the trucks, it seems like the 3 wide can get just a little bit sketchy at times. And, they've recently done some updates to the aero on these trucks, and it's made them a little bit twitchier, it seems like, in the draft. Heard some drivers talking about that pre-race, trucks getting loose, especially with the side draft. As you can see, an aggressive block up to the top there from McGarrigle, trying to fend off that run from the 58 truck. He's able to do so. And now that top lane gaining a little bit of momentum here.
Yeah, and you see him swap back down here. He's just trying to manage that front spot here, not trying to let someone go right past him or right beside him. He's just trying to get that block in so he can effectively just keep the race under his control.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that you really have to do here at Daytona. It's a little bit harder to make up the ground if you do start to lose it compared to a place like Talladega, because it is so hard to make the 3 wide work. But, McGarrigle doing a good job here early on, running that, I don't want to say defensive line, but just kind of fending off the runs when they come to him. Right now, momentum with the bottom lane, although Tyler Justice now going to jump up to the top and see if he can make a move for the lead.
And you see them pushing now, and I'm just really scared. I've seen it before when I've raced on Daytona. One bad bump can just lead to just a domino effect of just everybody wrecking. So it's really important when you're bumping just to get square on that bumper, because otherwise it's going to go haywire.
Yeah, you're 100% correct on that. And that is also part of why you're really seeing 2 different strategies play out. These drivers do have 2 fast repairs at their disposal for the evening, but you don't want to burn them if you don't have to. And you can see there's a second pack that's about 2 seconds back. The top 26, 27 cars are in this lead main pack, but Wyatt Dooling here in 28th, Brandon Wallace right behind in 29th. They are the first 2 drivers of this little back group that we've got here. It's a pretty common strategy that you'll see at Talladega and Daytona. Just you're back there just trying to give yourself enough time that when the big one breaks out in front of you, you can check up and hopefully avoid it.
Absolutely right. And I don't really know when this big one could happen. It could not happen at all, but I don't really want to jinx it or anything. But, you know, the big one is definitely important. You know, if you're caught up in that, that could just be a race ender. But with 2 fast repairs, you know, it really shouldn't be a huge issue. But, you know, it's just all about that strategy. It's all about your positioning. You know, how do I want to be here? How do I want to be there? It's really important. You know, it's up to the driver.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. It's definitely a lot of strategy that goes into it. Who do you want to race around? Who do you want to be that pusher? Who do you trust is really what it comes down to at these super speedway races. Right now, 31 on the scoring pylon, 33 on the truck there. Tyler Justice, Andrew McGarrigle, they have been 1 and 2 for the majority of these early stages. Jamie Libke has been up there as well. And, you know, something really cool that we've been talking about is, you know, just how many different veterans, first responders there are here in the league. Justice and Jamie Libke, both veterans. So 2 of those drivers that fall really into that main demographic that we have here at Goat Locker, you know, up there leading and running in the top here early on.
That's just something that's so awesome to see. You know, the thing that I love about Goat Locker is just all the veterans that come together and it just makes this like brotherhood, you know, of all these connections and friends, and seeing these veterans run up in the top here, you know, it's just something you just be so happy and proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I've heard some people talk about it, call it distraction or diversion therapy, just something to kind of escape. You know, a lot of folks, when they leave the service, they may have some struggles with transitioning back to civilian life, and it's just nice to have that community where you can be around other individuals that have gone through the same thing, kind of gone through some of the same struggles, whether it's with your deployments that you've had or just making that transition back to the civilian life. So that's really one of my favorite things about Goat Locker in general, is just, like you said, the sense of community that they've built, the camaraderie that there is. I mean, we've heard Pat and Jamie both talk about it before, that the racing is really secondary here. Yeah, we all show up, we all want to do well and compete, but at the end of the day, it's really about that community that they've built here.
Yeah, absolutely. When we were talking about that, I noticed Jamie Libke there in the 16 was blinking a little bit. I wonder if this will become a factor later on, but I've noticed her and Mitchell there in the 316 were getting into it a little bit there. Wonder if there's some kind of communication issues there with bumping as she blinks again. Don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a connection issue here. Taking a look on board with one of our drivers, that is Thaddeus Friel. Got his driver cam on there this evening. Do have a few drivers that always give us those onboards, taking a look here with their webcam. And man, that is a brave move there, trying to blink while you're at Daytona. Usually I'm wide-eyed, just trying to keep an eye on everything. We got a wreck up at the front of the
Oh my goodness.
There is a big wreck up at the front of the pack. Caution is not yet out. Yellow flag is out now. It looked like it actually started right around the 16 of Jamie Libke up near the front of the pack, but quite a few drivers actually caught up in that one. I think there's a couple guys that are actually still wrecking a little bit further back. See, the 316 was involved in that. There were, that was not pretty. That was basically the start of the big one that we've been talking about here as we queue up the instant replay. And yeah, you can see, okay, so Libke, it started up there around her. That is actually a phenomenal save to be able to hang on to that. Got shoved down onto the apron. And then just back behind that is where all calamity breaks loose. A lot of drivers doing a nice job of checking up and missing that one. I believe the 316 was one of those drivers that ended up getting caught up in that and spun. Yeah, gets spun into the outside wall, and then from there, it's just, I mean, you can just see total calamity from that point.
Yeah, I would definitely not call this one the big one just yet. I would call it like the medium one. I don't think this is the big one territory just yet. I'll call this the medium.
Yeah, and you could even see there, drivers still trying to avoid the spinning vehicles a little bit further back. We saw Brandon Wallace in the 99. He was one of those that was playing that strategy of hanging back just a little bit, and he had to make a very late break to be able to miss that. Let's take a look on board. I mean, you can see he's got almost like a half a straightaway ahead of him. to check up and miss this wreck. And I mean, he does so. You can see he's kind of starting to check up. You see everybody's kind of sliding down to the bottom, and you can even see the RPMs there, but just last second, somebody sliding right up in front of him. And that is a nice job by the 99 to check up and miss that.
Yeah, absolutely. And these kind of wrecks, you know, I know you're supposed to brake and stuff, but sometimes I just want to close my eyes, just keep onto the gas pedal and just go through all the smoke and see what happens. But I know that's not what you're supposed to do. But it's just in those kind of moments right there, I just want to just let loose, just weave on through and just see what happens.
Yeah, it is definitely an art form trying to avoid these wrecks at Talladega and Daytona. Some drivers are a lot better at it than others. I fall into the others category. It seems like no matter where I am at on the track, if there is a wreck, it could be on the other side of the speedway, and I'm still going to find a way to get caught up in it. So a little bit of luck sometimes, a little bit of skill, but got to have both here at these type of races. And as you can see, quite a few drivers taking advantage of this caution to go ahead and come down pit road. Looks like a few drivers did elect to stay out. Skylar Daly, Zachary Menace, and Kevin Price, your top three there on the scoring pylon. They did. Looks like they stayed out on this caution. But Noah, while we have a moment here under this caution, what we do here at Goat Locker isn't possible without these great sponsors that we have. And I just want to take a minute to shout out one of them, and that is Save 22, one of our great sponsors here at Goat Locker. And they are also a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Their unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate at save22.vet. They're also the title sponsor of our Friday Night Premier Truck Series. It's going to be kicking off here in just a couple weeks. If you want to catch some great truck racing, be sure to catch that on V-Speed. And I mean, if you like the sound of my voice, you get to hear me on that one too. So that might be a bonus, that might be a drawback, but it's definitely part of the experience.
No, definitely. The Premier Truck Series, you know, I'm definitely trying out, you know, I'm trying to get into there. I probably won't, if I'm being honest, but you know, just seeing the Premier Trucks is I think one of the best races, you know, racing series in the entire Goat Locker organization. It's just some of the best racing, you know, with some of the best drivers, and you know, being in there is just such an honor and a privilege. And you know, I absolutely love the Premier Series and what they do. And
yeah, for sure. And I've been fortunate enough to be on both sides of that, with running in the Premier Truck Series, with getting the call races on it last season, and it is certainly some of the best racing that I've been a part of and been able to watch. So definitely want to check that out if you're looking for a good series to watch on Friday evenings. Taking a look out there in the live chat in YouTube, we certainly want to give y'all a shout out as well, tuning in and supporting the show here this evening. There are a lot of names out there that, I'll be honest, I don't recognize, which is awesome. We appreciate everybody out there tuning in, whether you watch this every week or whether this is your first time tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. See Brandon Wallace out there in the YouTube chat, texting and driving. We'll just go ahead and leave that as it is. He said Flack came out late, why he hadn't lifted yet. But hey, you know what? He still lifted and he still missed it. So he's probably hoping that I'll quit talking about him, though, because every time I do, he ends up in the next wreck.
Yeah, and I'm already seeing some people in the YouTube chat talking about me. I love my friend group, and it's always nice to see them supporting me and what I do. So, Sal, if you're out there, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. You're one of my great friends, and it's really awesome to see you in the YouTube chat supporting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting ready to go back green here. We've got the field lined up 2 by 2. The lights are off on that iRacing pace truck. We are getting ready to get this race fired back off again. Already on lap number 12. Good little green flag run there to get things fired off here. See Skylar Daly and Zachary Menace will be the control trucks on the front row. Heading into the restart zone, little bit of a connection issue there out of the 22, but green flag is in the air, and we are back racing. A huge jump out of Skylar Daly that time by. That is not necessarily a good thing here at Daytona. He might be a bit of a sitting duck out there.
Yeah, definitely. You know, when it comes to Daytona and Talladega and those kind of tracks, you know, drafting is the most important thing ever. And if you're out of that draft, you know, you're toast. You know, you're just like you said, a sitting duck. And as soon as I say that, here they come right now, bumping him.
Getting a little squirrely there with the bump. Kevin Price doing nothing wrong on his end by any stretch, but that just goes to show that these trucks are not always the most stable with the pushes. And it's definitely, again, it's an art form to it. You got to line it up right. You got to get the bumpers squared up. Everybody comes out of that one clean, but that was definitely a big wiggle there out of the 22 with that push. You can see Tyler Justice now jumping up to the top groove, trying to get that second lane rolling, but just no help out back as of yet, although the freight train is coming behind him. It looks like that is Andrew McGarrigle, another one of those drivers who's a pole award winner this evening. He's been up front for a lot of the evening. He jumps up. He says, I'll go with you. We've been working together all race. They're going to try to get that top lane move.
Yeah, and when it comes to, drafting tracks like this, getting in line is I think one of the hardest things ever, is just, should I get in the line now? Should I wait and stay in the front line? It's stuff like that, this decision making like I was talking about earlier. Should I go out there? Should I not go out there? It's, it just changes the course of the race, if you do it.
You are 100% correct, and it almost reminds me of when you're driving on the interstate in rush hour. For me, it seems like no matter what lane I get in, that lane is the one that loses all its momentum. And again, it just reminds me of driving down the interstate. So that's probably an indication of why I never seem to run well at these super speedway races. Decision-making leaves a little bit to be desired. But some of these drivers just make it look easy. It's like they always make the right move. They just know where the energy and the momentum is at. Two of those drivers are Tyler Justice and Andrew McGarrigle. They find their way back up to the front. McGarrigle giving a really big push to Tyler Justice, gets them both clear, and they are back up to the number 1 and 2 positions where they have been for the majority of this race so far.
Yeah, and you can just see them, I've kind of noticed they've been switching a bit, trying to get that outside lane, no room. They're trying to go out there and get their draft out. And I think that's like a really important strategy when it comes to like drafting tracks is just, maintain that draft and making sure it doesn't get out of control in the other lane just by going around and blocking them and not blocking them and just being unpredictable. Being unpredictable, I think, is one of the most important things to drafting track, just making your moves, not as clear as what they should be.
Yeah, that could definitely play to your advantage at these tracks. There's just so much that you're trying to manage. I mean, you see how close McGarrigle is there. You can see up on the top lane, Jamie Lipke giving a really good push to Calvert there. Of course, right as soon as I say that, Lipke says, I'm going to the inside. I want to lead this line. But that's another thing that you really have to manage is when you do get up there and start pushing, it is so easy to overheat these vehicles. You've really got to be selective about when and how much and how long you stay connected. Otherwise, I mean, I've seen it happen where you have somebody that pushes just a little too long, overheats the truck, and next thing you know, you blow an engine right in front of the field, and that's what leads to the big one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're exactly right about that. Overheating in these trucks especially can just definitely be a problem. I've never run into it personally before, but I've seen it happen in officials, and it is just such an awful thing to happen to you. I mean, especially to take up a fast repair for that, that's just awful.
Yeah, and the one thing I'm kind of noticing here early on is it seems like the trucks that are able to push the best are actually the Toyotas out there. I mean, I know that we're running fixed setups. I know that everything is quote-unquote equal as far as that goes, but you look at the front end of those trucks, it's just such a big flat surface on the front, and it just kind of makes you wonder, are you able to just push just a little bit more, just a little bit better because of how flat the front of that truck is? Just remains to be seen. I mean, we've seen Lipke giving some good pushes. We've seen McGarrigle giving some good pushes. So there may be something to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to go on a tangent, my Toyota is better than everything rant, but I always use Toyota in everything I use, but I mean, I do agree with you. I do think their nose is slightly a bit flatter than the other trucks, so that's why, it gives better like pushes and drafts. But I mean, I don't really know. I'm not, an engineer in thermodynamics. I don't really understand how flat nose trucks compare to other trucks and whatever. But hey, that's why Toyota's better. But hey, that's what.
Well, I think at the risk of starting a manufacturer debate here out in the YouTube chat, I think we'll just go ahead and leave that one right where it's at. But you can see a little bit further back here, up near the front though, it's starting to single file out just a little bit. starting to get a little bit of space up there, and just kind of settling down, logging some laps here, which is really what you need to do at these super speedways. We've seen Jamie Lipke up there trying to get that second groove going, but she's got just a little bit of a connection issue that's been popping up here the last few laps. So, you know, as hard as it is to line up and time the pushes, it's even worse when you're trying to push somebody that is blinking, because you never know, am I still lined up with them? Are they going to reappear basically morphed inside of my truck? I've seen that happen before. But right now, everybody just kind of minding their manners, just trying to log some laps here. Really about the top 10 trucks here are single file up near the front. Doesn't start to get double file until you hit about that 11th or 12th position on back.
Yeah, and I think people are going to start realizing that, and they're going to start going back into single file, you know, because it's just so early in the race, you know. You don't really want to be making moves like that, just, you know, in the front, because you're just going to drop spots super fast. So I bet people are going to start realizing that and going to drop down right back into that inside line and just going to forget about it for the next couple, I don't know, 20 or 30 laps.
Yeah, and that's definitely part of it as well. You just got to log some laps. Like we mentioned, you do have the 2 fast repairs, but you don't want to use them if you don't have to. You want to try to avoid that. Just try to keep the truck clean as much as possible. But right now, that top groove's starting to gain a little bit of momentum. Jamie Lipke looks like that connection issue that she had there has sorted itself out to an extent. Starting to lead that top groove. Kevin Price jumps up, tries to take advantage of that momentum. Looks like they're starting to back up just a little bit on that top groove, just a bit of an accordion effect. I think they caught Kevin Price just a little bit faster than they anticipated there. Kind of checked that top groove up. And you can see now actually starting to fan out 3 wide in a couple of places here. Charles Averett stuck in the middle, starting to fall back just a little bit there. But that outside lane was starting to gain some pretty good momentum to make some ground up here.
Yeah, definitely. And that just proves, you know, with one wrong move, an entire line can just get sent all the way back to the back, and you have to work your way all the way back up again. It's important to stay absolutely locked right in front of your person, because you make one wrong move, it's just over for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably also one of the hardest things to figure out, is if you're going to move up in front of that top groove to try to take advantage of the momentum, how do you time it out? How do you get to it? How do you end up getting up there without checking that entire lane up? It's such a hard thing to time out. It's something that personally I've always struggled with at super speedways as well, is just trying to make that move. As we ride on board here a little bit further back, is Kevin Price that we are riding on board with, trying to get that push to Jamie Lipke directly ahead. Just trying to get that top group to work. And, you know, shout out to Kevin Price, gained that track position by staying out on that last caution and really hasn't lost a whole lot of it. I mean, restarted in third, still running up there in the top 10, doing a nice job of hanging on to that track position, using a little bit of strategy here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really excited to see how the strategy is going to pan out when we get closer to the end of the race, you know, because they obviously didn't take fuel when they started up in the front. So it's really curious if they're going to pit on green, or there's going to be another big one and we're going to go down to get more fuel. I'm really excited to see how that is going to pan out.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point that I actually didn't think of previously, is the fuel strategy aspect of it. If it does come down to a green flag pit stop, those drivers that stayed out are going to have to take a little bit more fuel, and they'll end up losing some track position as a result of that. But green flag pit stops, from my experience, are kind of few and far between at places like Daytona, Talladega. You're basically just anticipating that there's going to be a caution of some sort. Now, as far as with the race tonight, we do have 2 individuals running live race control, and that is Jake Ellingson and Jamie Barkis, both running race control here this evening. So we want to give them a shout out. iRacing cautions are not on. It is all thrown manually by race control. So, you know, you don't necessarily get those cautions, as we see a little 3 wide there, even just a little touch to the wall. That is the 08 truck of Brian Provo. Gets shoved up into that top groove, and he is hung out to dry on the top side as they're wrecking up in front. Jamie Lipke is around, and that is going to key off the big one here. Yellow flag is out.
Oh, my goodness.
Lord. Good night. We have got a parking lot on the front straightaway. That is definitely the big one at Daytona. We ain't calling that the medium one or the sort of big one or nothing like. Good Lord, they're still wrecking. that is definitely the big one here at Daytona this evening. And that one started in about the worst place possible in the tri-oval, up near the front of the pack, with Jamie Libke in the 16 getting sideways. Good grief, there is a lot to unpack from this one. As you can see, I mean, there's just nowhere for you to go. At that part of the track, it's not like on the back straightaway, you've got that huge paved runoff area that you can try to miss, try to go down below on the apron. I mean, there just ain't nowhere to go there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I wouldn't even call it a big one. I call it the extra large one at that point, because I think that was just like everybody that was affected by that. And now that has me wondering about the people that stayed out. You know, I mean, I guess they're going to take fuel now, but I mean, how is that going to change our strategy now with that? You know, with everybody else. You know.
Yeah, and you can see here we're riding on board with Jamie Libke for this replay. It makes ever so slight contact there, and just around Libke goes, around everybody goes at that point. that is just an absolutely massive wreck. I mean, you could even see it there. Brandon Wallace had somebody morph through them on the inside there. So they were technically on the pit lane, and iRacing is treating it as if it's the pit lane. And just two trucks just going through each other. I think iRacing didn't even know where to put everybody at certain points of that wreck. But, you know, if there's any positive out of this, it's that we do have the two fast repairs. It's not going to be a night ender for any of these drivers. It looks like everybody was indeed able to drive away from it, so nobody had to tow back to the pit lane. Going to be quite a few fast repairs used, but everybody's still in the running at this point, even after that huge wreck.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do think, you know, because that takes out a lot of fast repairs for some people. They still have a fast repair left, but, you know, it's really dangerous territory, especially in Daytona. You know, one more wreck and, you know, their night could be over.
Yeah, you definitely want to save those if at all possible. But pit road is open. I believe we are going to see pretty much everybody in the field take advantage of this caution to come down and pit. You can see the top two there, Justice and McGarrigle. They're definitely going to come down and hit the pit lane. The two that have been leading pretty much the entirety of this race. Definitely been the force to be reckoned with up there, so to speak, to this point in the race. And yeah, I don't think there is a single driver that elected to stay out on this caution. Literally everyone coming down pit lane here. McGarrigle actually the first one off of pit lane, and he will be the leader as we come back to this restart. But, you know, while we've got a moment here, we talked about one of the sponsors earlier. Something else that we want to make mention of while we do have a moment here with this break in the action is with Goat Locker, they have I'm going to say it's a brand new web store. I mean, they just launched it back in November, so it's basically still brand new. Got all kinds of merchandise on there. Got the QR code up on the screen that you can scan to hit that web store. Check it out on their website. And, I mean, you know, first off, I've got one of the Goat Locker hoodies on tonight. This might be one of the most comfortable hoodies that I've ever had. And I ain't just saying that because we're on the broadcast. This thing actually is, like, super soft. It is really comfortable. And the best part is I've got one of the Goat Locker hats too. And believe it or not, they actually had one that fit my enormous head that I have. So there's no excuse. You can find something on there that will fit you, that will fit your style. They've got a little bit of everything on there.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I got the hat and the t-shirt. That t-shirt is so comfortable. And I'm not trying to say that, you know, because we're affiliated or nothing, but it is so comfortable. I mean, I wear it to bed. I wear it when I watch movies. I wear it when I watch TV. I wear it when I eat my breakfast in the morning. It's the best shirt ever.
It is definitely. So yeah, check them out. Got all kinds of awesome merchandise on there. And everything is going to go to support the league, help support the mission that we've got here at Goat Locker with those sim rig giveaways that we mentioned earlier, and just help keep things going with that. So really cool opportunity, really cool merchandise that they got on there. And I believe, I could be mistaken, but I believe pretty much everything on there is actually from Jam Printing. And of course, they're one of our league sponsors as well. So another cool little connection that we've got here as we get ready to go back green. Field doubled back up, lights off on the pace truck for that one to go. So, I mean, we're a quarter of the way through this race. Well, really, I would say a third of the way through this race. And because my math is not very good right now, we're definitely a third of the way through this race. I mean, we've had a lot of action so far, Noah.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said in the pre-race, Daytona is just full of action, full of chaos, and I am here for it because I love watching Daytona racing because anything and everything could happen.
Yeah, it really can. And it's definitely, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the super speedways myself, like racing them. I love calling super speedways though, because there's always something that you can talk about. There's always action going on, and there's just always, so you never know what's going to happen next.
And I also just think with Daytona, it's just everybody wants to win at the exact same time. It's not this like, oh, I'm just going to stay back a little bit, I'm going to let it happen. Everybody wants to win, especially that $420. That's a lot of money that you can do a lot of different things with. So people are definitely going to be super aggressive trying to get that dough.
Yeah, you could definitely buy a lot of Goat Locker merchandise off of that web store with $420. So at this point, we are getting down to some really good racing. Green flag is back out, and we are back racing here with Andrew McGarrigle leading the field. Field still 2-by-2. Little ways back, top four now single filed out. Couple of new players up here near the front of the field. You can see Jeremy Gardner there in that number 4 spot. You can also see Wesley Burke in the 20 truck. First time we've really called his name as well this evening. Two new drivers there up near the front. Chance Taylor also in the 5th spot. So McGarrigle and Justice seem to be the mainstays up near the front of the field, but definitely some new faces making their way up here as well.
And I do want to note, because I do know Andrew McGargle and Wesley Burke, they are friends, and I am definitely expecting them to kind of stay together for a majority of this race, because I do know them and they know each other. They're probably going to be blocking the heck out of other people, just trying to get Andrew the win here. I wouldn't really be surprised by that at all.
You definitely got to have those friends out there, but Tyler Justice is going to have a couple of friends with him as well, with having Jeremy Gardner and Chance Taylor there behind them. Those drivers are all teammates as well. So, you've always got to play this out at super speedways as we ride along here with Jeremy Gardner in the number 4 position as they currently run. You want to try to find your teammates. Sometimes you're just working with folks that maybe you've been running around them all night, like we saw with Justice and McGarrigle earlier, that they just happen to both be up at the front. They were working well together. They know that they can work together a little bit later, but you always want to try to get your teammates up there if you can. And you can see here a little bit of the teammate strategy, but the 11 truck going to pull up and try to block that run. Really aggressive move to the outside, aggressive move back to the inside. He's able to keep the lead. Tyler Justice giving him a shove now through turns 3 and 4. That was definitely, it's definitely a little bit of an aggressive move here for where we're at, but sometimes you can't wait until the end of the race for it to be the first time that you try a block like that. And try it a little bit early on so you know what you got for late.
Yeah, with $420 at stake, you got to pull everything out of the rabbit's hat here to try to find something to do. And when that requires blocking and an extremely aggressive part of the race, then yeah, go for it.
Jeremy Gardner now, he's throwing his hat into the ring, trying to take this lead away with a push from Chance Taylor up on the high group. He's able to clear the bottom lane, drops down, but Taylor stays to the outside. Now they are both leading the first row of cars here. No, Mike Browning up there. First time we've seen him in the top 5 here this evening. Wyatt Dooling in the 88 close by as well. Another new player working his way up through the field for the first time. So a lot of these drivers, I think they've said the heck with riding around in the back. We're done with that. We're done with trying to just save what we got. Done with just trying to log laps here. It is time to get up through this field, show what speed we've got, and start getting that track position, especially with the field as big as it is. I mean, we've still got 38 trucks on the lead lap. You can't just wait until it's 10, 15 laps to go to decide, now I want to work my way up to the front. You've got to get there now, and you got to try to work your way up and see what you got.
Yeah, and, from a driver's perspective, this is when I would start pushing. This is when I would start trying to make my moves. I'm tired of playing it cool, going with the flow. This is when I'm going to start weaving my way through to the top.
Well, I would say this is when I would try to start weaving my way through the top. But like I said earlier, I always pick the wrong lane, so I just end up falling farther back. I just got to hope that everybody in front of me wrecks. That's about the only chance I have at these super speedways. But some of these drivers, I mean, it's just wild to me how some of these guys can make it seem easy with moving up through the field. Is a little bit further back. Looked like Mike Browning started to drift up the track just a little bit. Almost contact between himself and Dooling there in the 88, but both able to hang on to it, able to continue on and trying to lead that charge on the outside lane. They've also got Thaddeus Friel there in the 8 truck right behind them and starting to make a little bit of progress up through the field. You can also see the next truck in line behind Friel is actually Jason Kristen in the 02 truck. And this was something that Jamie Barkis had actually told me earlier, is that Jason Kristen was the first driver to officially enter for the 50-50 race. The first one to sign up, pay the fee to get in, all of that. So shout out to him for kicking everything off with the entries for it. And from what I've been told, he's going to have an additional prize. I haven't been told what it is, but he is going to have just an additional prize for being the first one to sign up for this race. It's just a thank you for getting everything kicked off.
And I just think that's awesome, I think that's going to incentivize people maybe in the future. Hey, we got an event going on. You might want to sign up first because look what happened.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. Be quick on the sign up with that. You might get an extra little swag bag or something. I mean, I don't know what he's going to get, but they said he's got something additional that he'll get for this one for it. So word to the wise for those that may be thinking about signing up for the next one that we put together. You definitely want to be quick to get in with that entry. Back to the racing on track, though, you see Chance Taylor. He is still leading that outside lane, trying to take the lead away from Tyler Justice down there on the bottom. Two pretty well formed up lines here. Is a little further back, you see some trucks going below that yellow line. Got shoved down there just a little bit. Everybody able to hang on to it, though. Everybody comes out clean on the other end of it, but business is definitely picking up here at the front of the field. This is really about the most aggressive that we've seen people getting with the pushing, the blocking, trying to work their way up to the front of the field. Mike Browning now leading the charge on that outside lane, and he's got a huge push coming from Wyatt Dooling in the 88.
I think it's now finally time where we see that outside lane starting to pick up their speed now. I think people are trying to think about the strategy of where they want to be, and they're starting to go outside now, and that's just causing just a humongous line now on the outside trying to get away from this inside line.
Well, we could see it there riding on board with Browning looking back at Wyatt Dooling. He was pushing so hard you could see the engine on that Toyota as they went down the back straightaway. I mean, he is tucked up behind that Ford truck trying to get him to the lead. That inside lane, though, gaining a little bit of energy and momentum back, able to pull back ahead through turns 3 and 4. But, man, again, it just seems like those Toyota drivers can get up there and just shove just a little bit harder than the other drivers can. It just seems like that's the way it's playing out here this evening.
And I'm starting to notice, too, some of these people are pushing in the corners. And, when I race in, like, draft masters or officials, I do not like pushing in the corners. That just freaks me out. But there's some people that are just super comfortable with that. And I think it's starting to play out now. We're kind of seeing it happen on the outside line here. So I wonder if this will be a factor.
Yeah, pushing in the corners typically doesn't work out very well. Little side story, our producer, Eddie Smith, I actually absolutely wrecked him at Talladega once in an Xfinity race by doing that. So Yeah, that was a while back. He probably don't even remember what I'm talking about, but I definitely remember he said, give me a push. I did, and I did it in the corner, and I think I actually wiped out about 20 cars in that wreck. So, yeah, it doesn't typically work out very well when you try that, but some of these drivers able to do it, line it up very well, make it work pretty well. Starts the single file out there near the front of the field. Take a look on board here with another driver a little bit further back. This is Patrick Wilkinson riding along here with him. He's doing a little bit different strategy here. Oh, they're wrecking up near the front of the field.
Oh, no.
The 51 truck is around. See him sideways. See the 20 of Wesley Burke involved. The 08 of Brian Provo caught up in it as well there. That is going to bring out the caution here on lap number 39. It's like everybody's able to drive away from it, but definitely some damaged trucks in that incident. Let's take a look here on the V-Speed instant replay. This was up near the front of the field as well. This could have, I mean, this easily could have been a bigger wreck than what it was. Take a look here. Oh, Wesley Burke drifts up just a little bit and gets into the 88 of Wyatt Dooling. And then from there, it is just on from there. And I mean, you know, again, that could have been a lot bigger than what it was. That was a really great job by the rest of the field. I mean, we did have a couple trucks caught up in it, but that could have wiped out again another 20 trucks.
Yeah, I'm pretty glad that wasn't the big one, part two. But yeah, this is going to take into account some more fast repairs, and we're going to see those go away, and that's going to leave them a lot more vulnerable now when it comes to later down in the race.
Yeah, that is definitely not ideal, but even Wesley Burke in that doesn't look like he has a ton of damage from that wreck. May not even necessarily need to burn a fast repair as a result of that. Might be able to just have the pit crew get the hammers out and take a swing at it. Might be able to just continue on without having to use another one of those. So caution is out. We are 40 laps in here out of 76, and you know, I'd have to think that this would be another opportunity to see the majority of the field come down pit road, as we're right at that window where I would think you'd be able to make it to the end from here on fuel.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is a pretty important window for fuel, definitely. I'm also kind of interested to see if anyone goes down to maybe fix some repairs from past wrecks. You know, they didn't go down to get their fast repair. So I'm really curious to see what this pit lane's going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see here pit lane is open and the floodgates are open for pit road as well. This is going to bring just about everybody down. Looks like there was one truck a little bit further back. Didn't quite catch who that was. Believe that was Kyle Deering in the 50. Yeah, I can see his name moving up the leaderboard there. He did elect to stay out, but I think that is going to be a very lonely drive behind the pace truck here for him. Maybe the only one that actually stayed out here. Let's take a look at the timing and scoring there. I think there was a little issue with one of the trucks that's kind of throwing off the timing and scoring there just a little bit with Zachary Menace. But as far as those that were actually in that lead pack, Kyle Deering, the only one to not come down pit road this time.
Yeah, and I think that's a pretty scary kind of territory to be in. I don't think I would stay out here. You know, it definitely takes some guts to do that. So I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to play out. I personally don't think this is the right call, but we'll see.
Yeah, far be it for me to question the strategies. I have questioned strategies before when I've been up here in the booth, and more often than not, the drivers make me look dumb whenever it happens. So I'm going to trust the ones behind the wheel here with what they're doing out there on the track. But while we have a break in the action, let's go ahead and give you just a little bit of a rundown here of our running order, give you a little bit of a glimpse into where some of these drivers are running. So Kyle Deering will be your race leader. Tyler Justice in second. Jeremy Gardner, Andrew McGarrigle, and Mike Browning round out your top 5. The rest of your top 10 is going to be Thaddeus Friel in 6th, Jason Christen in 7th, Chance Taylor in 8th, Alan Smith in 9th, Samuel Joseph running in the 10th position.
Yeah, and then I want to take a look definitely at the next 10 drivers here as
Yeah, taking a look here, rest of that rundown. Jacob Lenke's going to be in 11th, and 12th is Jamie Libke, Skylar Daly in 13th, Charles Abert 14th, George Jewell 15th, Melissa Dyer 16th, Dave Calvert in 17th, Logan Threlkeld 18th, Casey Jones in 19th, and Cody Anderson is going to round out your top 20 as we start to double back up here for a restart. And you know, just taking a look down through some of the numbers I'm seeing here on our timing and scoring, most of the drivers, there's a few that do not, but most of the drivers still have at least one of their 2 fast repairs left. There's only about a handful of drivers that I'm seeing that have used both of them. So I'm not saying that might lead to a little bit more calamity here. I'm just saying it might lead to a little bit more calamity.
I mean, I would say if I have that fast repair, I'm going to run a little bit more recklessly than I have been before. You know, yeah, I have that fast repair to fall back on, but also personally, I would try to keep that, you know, for the later race. If stuff gets crazy down the road, if you have that fast repair, you're in a fairly good advantage compared to other people.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it definitely allows you to be a little bit more daring, we'll say, with some of the moves that you may make compared to if you don't have the fast repair. You may be forced into one of those strategies where you're going to have to ride around in the back. You're going to have to just kind of hang out back there, hope that you can avoid any of the carnage that will inevitably take place. I mean, we see it all the time at Daytona, and you just see it in officials, you see it in league races, especially once you get down inside that 10 to go. Everybody knows that the pressure is going to be ratcheted up just a little bit, and that's when you can really just kind of lay it all on the line and just go for broke at that point. But still have 34 laps to go when we go back green here in this race. Pace truck is off field, in control of that 50 of Kyle Deering, but he's got one of the fastest trucks of the evening, Tyler Justice, with Andrew McGarrigle pushing on that high line to his outside. Green flag is in the air, and we are back racing here at Daytona. As they head down the back straightaway, that outside lane was not formed up very well on that initial restart. But Tyler Justice still able to get to the lead, clear the 50, drop down on that bottom lane. He's got McGarrigle up there on the top lane now with Mike Browning behind, trying to get that top groove rolling, but it's formed back up now, and they are pretty much 2 by 2 for the entirety of this field right now.
Yeah, and I can see it right now with those 2 lines going. I still think the outside line might have an advantage here. We'll have to see. And I think maybe the top guy on the outside line, McGargle, is probably going to go down into the inside line, as I think he's doing that right now as we speak. Currently sitting in the middle here, but I think he'll go down to the inside line once we get out of this turn.
Yeah, it looked like maybe just trying to determine where was the 4 of Browning going to go. Was he going to drop down to the bottom? Was he going to try to make a move back up to the top? So really a good move there by the 11 truck to be able to kind of stall that momentum and make sure that he can hold the lead here. He is back to the point, the pole sitter for this race. And, you know, shout out to him. I mean, you're running a fixed setup race at a super speedway like this. It is not common to see somebody start on pole as he moves up to the top of the track, blocking that run from the 4 truck. But it's not common to see somebody start on pole and just spend the entirety of the race up near the front of the field like this. You usually have a lot of movement where you find yourself at the back at some point, got to work your way back up to the front, but that just hasn't been the case for him this evening. I don't remember any time that we've seen him outside the top 10 or maybe even the top 5 at this point.
You just reminded me of our picks we just did. You know, I picked Logan. I don't really remember who you picked. I think you picked Charles Abert. I wonder where they're at right now.
You know, that is a great question here. So taking a look through the timing and scoring, Charles Abert currently in the 22nd position. So my pick, not up where I would, not where I would like to see him at here for the evening. your pick just outside the top 10, Logan Threlkeld, he is running in the 11th position right now. So your driver doing a little bit better. And you know what? I can't even root against Logan at this point. He's got the Greg Biffle tribute scheme on there, which is awesome. You know, that was such a tragedy what happened with the NASCAR community with Greg and his family, and of course thoughts and prayers with his family and loved ones, friends. You know, just really sad, that whole situation. So you never necessarily have a driver that you're rooting for whenever you're up here in the booth. But man, it would be pretty cool to see that Greg Biffle tribute scheme in victory lane after what happened.
Yeah, I totally agree. I never really knew Greg Biffle. You know, I'm kind of a newer NASCAR fan, but what I've heard he's done with the community has just been short of amazing. He's done so much for our community, and he's such a great stand-up guy. So I was just absolutely devastated to hear the news.
Yeah, for sure, especially with all the work he did in North Carolina after the hurricane with the supplies that he flew in and things of that nature. Definitely a huge loss for the community. So it's been cool to see how many people are running those schemes and running those tributes and everything to him. And yeah, just really cool to see all the tributes that came pouring in for him. And right now, Logan's starting to work his way up there. You can see on that high lane, got the 6 truck in lineup on that high side, starting to make a little bit of ground. See his name there in the top 10 as they currently run on track. He does still have one faster pair in his back pocket. Did have to burn one earlier in the evening, but making some ground up through the field here this evening for your pick to win.
Yeah, I'm very happy that I picked him to win. I'm so glad I'm doing so much better than you in that. It just makes me so happy to know that I am so much better at picks than you.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, that is a low bar to trip over. When you have a producer that makes a broadcaster curse chart because of how bad you are with that, I mean, that just tells you everything you need to know right there. So yeah, I'm glad that you're doing better with your picks than I am too. So yeah, that's really all I got for that. It's just, yeah, you're already starting off better than I was anyway. So who knows? You might be the one to just not have a broadcaster curse out of all the commentators we have here.
And we're still seeing those 2 lines here. I'm really curious to see if someone's going to make it 3 here. You know, especially, you know, we're getting closer to that end of the race here. Someone might want to make it 3. We can get 3 lines going. I'm really curious to see if someone's going to step out and make that that move or not. But we'll see.
Yeah, at some point you're going to have to try it, especially if you're outside the top 10, if you're a little bit further back with track position, you're going to have to give it a shot. But you can see this angle right here actually gives us such a great view of why it is so hard to get that 3rd lane going. There's almost not enough room for it. We've got trucks in the air. I see the 59 truck is around a little bit further back. Ended up getting back on all 4 wheels, but man, that was a huge wreck back on the front straightaway. See multiple drivers with black flags actually for having to go down pit road to avoid that, or getting spun down pit road in some instances. But yeah, that was a big wreck a little bit further back as we queue it up on the V-Speed instant replay here. You can see, looks like that was Wyatt dueling a little bit further back, but doesn't look like the incident started with him. It's a little bit further up. Yeah, a bunch of drivers having to take evasive maneuvers there, just clipping the end of the pit lane to be able to avoid that wreck. It looked like it was the 59 truck, from what I could tell, that got turned. He says 59 on the truck. Numbers may not be 100% in our timing and scoring here. Try to take a look and see exactly what happened with this wreck. I think it may have started up a little bit further ahead of this one. Trying to see exactly who that was there. See the 75 of Chuck Phelps. He got turned around in that incident. Doesn't look like he received any damage from it, was able to keep it pointed in the right direction after he did get spun around, keep it off the wall. Yeah, that is, I think that's a first for me because I can't tell exactly who it was. Oh, I see what it is. It is the 38 of Frederick Seagraves is where that actually started at. It's 59 on his truck, but 38 on our timing and scoring. So see here, he tries the 3 wide, gets into the 37 just a little bit. That truck almost going up in the air. It does plant down back on all 4 tires. But and again, this is what makes the 3 wide so difficult. It's so hard to time that out. There's just a little bit of contact there with the 20 of Wesley Burke as well. And it was pretty much game on from there. But the 59 and the 20, well, the 38 rather, and the 20, getting the worst damage out of that incident.
And like I said earlier, with these fast repairs, they're starting to run out pretty quick. People are just going to have to start racing with damage, or they're just going to have to retire just because they don't have enough fast repairs to even get to the end of the race here.
Yeah, that's what makes it such a strategy game. If you've already had to use one of those fast repairs, when do you decide to come back down? When do you decide to try to push and get up to the front of the field? This pit strategy is a little bit split here, though. See some drivers staying out. Gergel stays out, but you've got Samuel Yosef is going to move up into the number 2 position. Zachary Menace, Skylar Daly, and Gregory Badnace are your top 5, with Bobby Bender, Curtis Mitchell, Charles Abert, Jamie Libke, and Chance Taylor will now be your top 10. So, yeah, a little bit of a jumble here with the running order, a bit of a split strategy here with whether these drivers decided to come down pit road or stay out on this caution.
And, it just all comes down to strategy. And I'm just so curious of just how is this going to end out in the end of the race, because there's just so many different strategies that are just going to mix into each other. People are going to go down, people are going to stay out, and it's just going to cause so much chaos. And that's what I love about Daytona. That's exactly why I love Daytona and Talladega, is because there's so many different ideas being thrown out at the same time that it just causes mass chaos. And I just can't wait to see how this is going to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. It will definitely be a good race to the finish. But while we have a quick break here, I want to give a shout out to another one of our great league sponsors that we have here at Goat Locker, and that is Cruisin' Classics. Located in Columbus, Ohio, Cruisin' Classics has a beautiful 56,000 square foot showroom filled with hundreds of unique automobiles. And there is something for everybody out of their hand-picked selection of muscle cars and hot rods. So come down to the facility if you're in the area, or check out their website at cruisinClassicsinc.com. We appreciate all their support. Also, another one of our Premier Series sponsors for that Wednesday night Next Gen Series. That'll be another good one that'll be firing off here in just a couple of weeks.
I just love our Premier Series. I like I said earlier, I'm still trying out for them just so I can even get a chance to race with them, because it's such an honor and a privilege to just to race there and to be with your fellow veterans and friends racing in one of the best series in all of GLR. So I absolutely love what they're doing with the Premier Series. I love seeing it grow with new members.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of our series will be firing off here, not this coming week, but the week after. And there are leagues literally every single night of the week. Got 11 series in total. Leagues start on January 12th. So if you're out there watching, if you're not in Goat Locker as a league, you're looking for a league to join, I can't speak highly enough of Goat Locker in general. It doesn't matter what kind of car you're after. If you're looking for sports cars, Indy cars, anything in the NASCAR stock car line, we've got a dirt league firing off this season. We've got the Mazda MX-5s. I mean, literally anything that you could possibly be looking for, Goat Locker has it on offer, and those leagues are starting up here in just about a week and a half, about actually 9 days from now is when we are starting up the new season. So definitely check that out. And I mean, you're going to have some great racing every single night of the week, and just can't speak highly enough about it. But as for now, pace truck lights are off. Getting down to 20 laps to go, getting close to that 20 to go, just over 20 laps here left in this race to decide who is going to take home $420 in tonight's 50-50 race. Green flag is in the air. Big jump for the 11 truck. McGarrigle on that inside lane as we get back racing here at Daytona. Inside lane not formed up very well to start here. A little bit of a discombobulated restart there. Don't normally see that big of a gap between the vehicles here at Daytona. And just got to wonder, how is that going to play out for some of these trucks? As you can see there, Samuel Joseph now right on the back bumper of Andrew McGarrigle, giving him a shove. And that is Zachary Minnis on the inside lane. He is trying to get up there and take the lead for the first time tonight. A driver that, I'll be honest, I'm more used to seeing him making left and right turns between IndyCar and our sports car series, but he's out there showing he knows how to get it done on the ovals, the drafting tracks here tonight, and he is leading that inside lane. You can see Joseph there, Samuel Joseph. He is giving a shove to the race leader, the 11, trying to get him clear, get himself up there for the lead as well.
And yeah, I was just taking a look right back at that restart. This looks like someone just didn't go off the right way, and that causes a huge domino effect that can lead to spaces like that. And I think that's definitely going to change the course of this race, just because of all the spacing and how the drafting works and whatever. It's so interesting to me how that works. How just like one person could be out of line in a draft and it just ruins the whole draft for everybody else.
Yeah, and one thing too is we do have some new players up here near the front. If this is the first time you've restarted up in the top 10, say, for this race, it's a little bit different than when you restart back in 20th or 30th, where you've got to be a little bit slower getting to the throttle. You've got to be a little bit more careful with taking off, whereas up here you can really just get on the throttle as soon as everybody starts to go. So a little bit of just a little bit of a learning experience here as we get down inside of 20 laps to go. And still for now, just 2 by 2. Nobody really trying that middle lane yet. I know you've been waiting on it, Noah, but nobody brave enough just yet to give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the race, I would go for it all. I mean, this is the moment I'm pushing my poker chips in. I'm going all in. This is the time where I need to put my mind on the win and to get my car into first place no matter what it takes.
Yep, it is definitely go time here as we are inside of that 20 lap to go mark. Samuel Joseph now your race leader with a big shove from Zachary Minnis. He is able to clear to the lead, so we have a new driver up at the top of the leaderboard for the first time here this evening. Zachary Minnis is actually now clear of that outside lane with McGarrigle as well. Got to think, that 11 truck has been the dominant truck of the evening. Both he and Tyler Justice have been up there all evening long. I think if you get the opportunity to get in front of him, you almost have to do it. It's almost like with what you used to see with Dale Jr. back in the day at some of these super speedway races. If you get the chance to get in front of him, you got to take it. And you can't let him get control of this race back because he's already shown that he is able to maintain.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see how he's going to maybe go about this, because you see he's on the outside lane, but he really has no way to go inside right now. He's pretty much trapped to that spot, so he's really going to have to try to get this outside lane moving.
Oh, and the 24 of Badnace decides to jump up in front of him. The first driver that's really going to try to pull that strategy, get in front of the fast truck and see if you can make it work. Just a couple trucks back from that, Thaddeus Friel again riding on board with him with that webcam on, and you can see that is a look of focus right there. That is exactly what you got to do here at Daytona. You can't rest at all when you are under these green flag conditions, especially at this point of the race. That's a little bit closer to what I expected compared to what we saw earlier, where he just kind of looked relaxed, was just going through it. Now he's right there as he gets into the wall just a little bit. They were 3 wide through the tri-oval. McGarrigle made a move on Badnace there to get around him and try to get back to the lead of that outside lane. Put the 24 truck in the middle. He is now shuffled all the way to the back of the pack. But that didn't put the 11 at the front of that top groove. That is actually Chance Taylor now that is up there leading that lane. And McGarrigle is starting to fall back just a little bit here, back into the 10th position. This is about the furthest back that we've seen him all evening, as it looks like Thaddeus Friel says, you know what, I'll go up and try the top groove, and they may just hang that 11 truck in the middle with no draft help. He is right there in the middle of it, gets tight off of turn number 4 as they come through the tri-oval. And that is not where you want to try the 3 wide, but that 11 is dropping fast right now.
Yeah, being the meat in the sandwich, especially at this track, is just such an awful experience. I mean, you're looking at all sides of your mirrors, trying to see if someone's next to you or not. You got to focus on the draft ahead of you, and it's just such an awkward and horrible experience.
And you can see there the 3 wide is starting. You've been wondering, Noah, when is it going to happen? They're 3 wide. They were thinking they're 4 wide down the back straightaway with a couple of the 11 goes around. The 11 is around. It doesn't look like he is going to hit anything, but no caution for the single truck spin. Oh, good night. Hold it. Hold the brakes. The caution is out. They did have to throw it with the truck sitting sideways, but the dominant truck of the evening is going to be behind the 8 ball on track position now. Under 20 laps to go. And man, that could have been a lot bigger than it was as we take a look here on the replay. And just, 4 wide just is not feasible here. Just everybody trying to get back up on the track. Contact with the 9. Around goes McGarrigle. And I mean, number one, fantastic job to keep it off the wall. Doesn't hit anything. And fantastic job by the field to miss him. I mean, there was nothing he could do. When you get the truck on that angle on the banking, I mean, you're basically you're just along for the ride at that point. And great job by the field of everybody missing in there.
Yeah, and I just want to feel for Andrew here. I bet he's just feeling so many different emotions right now. Probably none that are pleasant, but just running at the top like this and just being sent out just like that is just got to be the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah, that is definitely a heartbreaker for the driver that has been up here near the front for the entirety of the evening. As again, just one more look, and I mean, he's trying everything he can to get that truck out of harm's way in some form or fashion, but the tires are heated up from the slide. I mean, there's just nothing you can do there except just hold on to it and hope for the best at that point. Let's take one more look here down this back straightaway. We saw the 3 wide, see a little door banging there in front of this battle. And, oh, good night. That was a big save there out of Skylar Daly. And I didn't quite catch the other truck. There's no door number on it, but you can see there just the 9 truck tried to get back up onto the track before they get over into turn number 3. And, oh, I didn't even see that. That was Seagraves that went around after the fact. And, oh, good night. That was a big hit there as well. I was so focused on what was going on with the 11 that I didn't even see any of that. There were a couple trucks just absolutely destroyed in that wreck. See here, this was pretty well behind the initial incident. Yeah, it looked like that was Lemke was just along for the ride after getting into the wall a little bit himself. And there was contact with Jeremy Gardner, and I didn't see exactly who that was that came in after the fact and actually got into Gardner and spun him out. It looked like the 25 truck that made a little bit of contact there, but yeah, I tell you, I was so focused on what initially happened that I completely missed all the extracurriculars after that.
And Daytona's is one of those tracks where, I mean, someone could be wrecking and, all your attention's right there, but there's a separate wreck going on right behind you. And there's more wrecks coming up in front of you. It's just chaos. It's like I've been saying this entire time. This track is chaos, and I love every part of it.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting incident that happened after the fact. With the original wreck looked like it was all but over with. And then just after the fact, I believe that was Joshua Thornton that actually came in. He's 98 on the scoring pylon, but 25 on his truck, and made some contact with a couple of trucks after the main wreck had ended here. So right along board, this is, man, he had some Days of Thunder stuff going on there for just a moment, and it came to an abrupt end with the back of Jeremy Gardner's machine.
And I've said it before, but these fast repairs now, we've now gotten through a couple wrecks now where they've probably been needed, and I'm really curious to see how many people have been saving their fast repairs, how many people haven't been saving their fast repairs. Now we get to see.
Yeah, there are certainly there's certainly a lot of drivers that do still have that fast repair available to them that are going to have to take advantage of that now. But we've got the field lined back up 2 by 2 behind the iRacing pace truck, and I have a feeling that we have not seen our last incident of the evening. We are going to be down inside of 15 laps to go, closing in on 10 to go when we go back green here. And again, that $420 grand prize to the race winner is definitely going to be in the minds of everybody here as we get back racing. Samuel Joseph, Zachary Menace on your front row. Got Taylor, Bender, Justice, Libke, Friel, Browning, your pick. Logan Threlkeld still up there in the top 10, and Melissa Dyer rounding out the top 10. Business is about to pick it up here, Noah.
Yeah, I mean, $420, like I said, it's just nothing to sneeze at. I mean, I really don't even know what I would do with the money, Daniel. If I got that $420, I just don't know what I would spend it on. Would it be iRacing? Would it be some new clothes? I don't know.
Based off what you said earlier, I think you'd be spending it in the Goat Locker web store. I think that's probably where at least part of it would end up. But we are getting down into the go time here. Getting down to the end of this race. Lights are off on the pace truck, and we are getting ready to fire this race back off for a chance to win that $420 prize. Pace truck is back on to the pit road as they are wrecking before we even go back green. And the caution immediately comes back out, so we are going to just go ahead and put this into a bit of a holding pattern here for just a moment. Yeah, that is, that kind of gives me shades of the 2020 Clash here at Daytona, where there was a wreck right near the end that I think started before they even took the green on a restart. So let's go back and unpack this just a little bit. It's not every day that you see a wreck right off of a caution, and yeah, it looked like somebody checked up there at the front. I see the 34 of Casey Jones, I believe that was one of the first ones that ended up getting spun there. That Hendrick car's machine, I believe he was actually the first one that got spun. Taking a look here. Oh, no, it was actually 2 cars ahead of him in that outside lane. Yeah, there was just a massive checkup on that restart. Maybe started around the 36 of George Jeweler, the 99 of Brandon Wallace was the next couple of cars up there ahead of him. And yeah, it looked like it really started right around the 99 of Wallace there with just a little bit of a checkup. And yeah, I'm just not sure it would have had to have started above that or front of that rather, with somebody checking up near the front of the field. And then from there, it's just an accordion effect. The further back you go in the field, the worse that checkup effect is going to get.
Yeah, and that's why it's super important, when you're pacing, is always look at the car in front of you, and always look at the car behind you, because then stuff like that happens, and it's not pretty to be involved with that.
Yeah, that is definitely less than ideal with having that happen right off a restart. And that is going to bring us inside of 10 laps to go here when we go back green. But let's go ahead while we do have a moment here with this extended caution. Thank another one of our league sponsors, and that is Lincoln Tech. I want to give them a shout out. Lincoln Tech's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They're one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses, title sponsor of our IndyCar series. and one of the largest partners that we've got here at Goat Locker. We definitely appreciate all of their support with everything that they do here. Well, let's go ahead, while we do also have a moment here before we get back racing, let's give you a quick rundown of our top 10 as they currently run on track, just to give you an idea of where everybody is running. Is it looks like, just taking a look on track, it looks like maybe with where the caution came out, that the drivers actually have to go the whole way around the field and catch the pace truck, is what it's maybe looking like. It's just kind of odd whenever the caution comes out like that, sometimes it makes iRacing do some wonky things. But let's give you a quick reset on the field here as far as the top 10 goes. And actually, give me just a second here, because it looks like with what we've got going on, it's actually kind of broken the timing and scoring a little bit here. But as they run, it looks like Samuel Joseph going to be your race leader. Zachary Menace, Chance Taylor, Bobby Bender, and Tyler Justice are your top 5, with Jamie Libke in 6th, Thaddeus Friel in 7th, Logan Threlkeld in 8th, Melissa Dyer in 9th, and Cody Anderson rounding out the top 10 with this caution that we are under. And yeah, you see there, field, I'll be honest, this is kind of an odd one, just with the way that the caution fell. It may take a little bit of sorting out on the part of race control to get everything figured out and get everybody lined up in the correct spots here.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm really curious now because of all these different strategies. I wonder where we're at with fuel right now. I haven't really been looking at pit roads, so I'm not really too sure about that. If we're good on fuel, if we're not good on fuel. I'm really curious to see what people are at right now with that.
Yeah, and I believe everybody should be good to make it to the end on fuel from here. With the cautions that we've had, you're able to save quite a bit under caution here at Daytona. Just able to do things like clutching the truck, shutting it off if you've got the buttons mapped for it to save that fuel. So believe everybody should be good to go to the end here. Looks like race control has actually extended the caution by 1 lap here. With the way iRacing's got everybody lined up, it looks like it's actually put a couple of it looks like it got a couple of people where they're basically on the tail end of the lead lap. See Corinne Smith, Jason Kristen is up there as well, and a couple of others as well caught up in that, where just, again, it looks like with where some of the people near the back of the pack were when the caution came out, it basically trapped them behind the pace truck and keeps them like on the tail end of the lead lap. So just a strange situation, but race control is working through it to get the waiver rounds issued. We should be going back green here within the next lap or two.
Yeah, and on the top bar, really quickly while we're on cautions, I know we have up to 3 green-white checkers. I wonder, Dan, do you think that's going to be a huge play? Do you think people are saving maybe for that green-white checker? Do you think maybe the green-white checker might not happen? I mean, what do you think?
No, myself personally, whenever I'm in these positions, when you get down to the end of a race at a super speedway, my mind always works in the worst case scenario. What if we need all 3 of those green-white checkers? And especially if I'm a driver that's not up in that top 10 and I know that it's going to be close on making it more than 1 green-white checker, I'll go ahead and come down pit road and top off. And if we do end up utilizing all of them, it gives me the option to stay out when maybe some other folks may have to come down and top off if they're close as well. So I think you've basically got to be of the mindset that we're going to need every single one of them. At least that's what my mindset is in these situations.
Right, and I totally agree with that. From my personal experience when it comes to green-white checkers, I always want to make sure that I have enough fuel, when I'm racing normally, that I have like 4 or 5 extra laps, just in case for anything crazy. For 3 green-white checkers, though, I'm not really too sure. I've never really been in a situation where we had 3 green-white checkers. Usually only 2 or 1, when I race, but I'm really excited to see how this is going to pan out. We still got a crap ton of racing left, so let's see how this goes.
We do indeed. And, I've actually been in a league that had unlimited green-white checkers before. I may or may not have been the one that set that up because I was the admin of the league, but Yeah, that's neither here nor there when you when you get the unlimited green white checkers, or I think it's 15 is the most that iRacing will let you have. It definitely throws your strategy off a little bit, but let's hope that we don't need all three of them. Let's hope that we can get this green to the end and see what these drivers can do here as we get down to the end of this race. We are going to have just 8 laps to go when we go back green here. And it looks like they did actually add one more pace lap just to let the field get sorted out with the timing and scoring issues. So gonna have one more lap here. So since we've got one more lap added on, we say we go ahead and thank another one of our great league sponsors that we have here with Goat Locker, and that is going to be InVets that we want to give a shout out to. And InVets aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They're a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. And they are the title sponsor of our Sunday night series. I almost called it the Sunday Xfinity series, but I guess I need to start calling it the Sunday O'Reilly Auto Parts series. It's still going to be so weird for me to say that with the changeover on that, but we definitely appreciate all of InVet's support with the league, and they play a pretty pivotal role in also determining who is going to get those sim rigs. They're one of the sponsors that helps with that. I can't think of the right word I want to say. We'll say vetting process with it to figure out who would be eligible for it and good candidates for it. So we definitely appreciate everything they do here at Goat Locker.
Yeah, and I don't think I could ever call it the O'Reilly series, on the topic of that. I am just so used to calling it the Xfinity series, I don't think I can call it anything else.
I might be showing my age a little bit, but I think that in my mind, I still think of it as the Grand National Series. And actually, I believe that is what Pat has said that the name of the Sunday night series is actually going to be this season, is the InVets Grand National Series. So cool little throwback that he's doing with that as well, with the naming of that. So I'm looking forward to that. I love that car. It's one of my favorites on iRacing. I only got to run one race in that series last season, but it always puts on a really good show, and it was a really competitive series last season. I mean, there was a lot of guys in contention for wins, a lot of really strong drivers in that series. So looks like at this point we do have the field sorted out. Pace Truck is making that much anticipated left-hand turn. We're going to have 6 laps to go when we go back green here. Field in control of Samuel Joseph. The green flag is in the air. We are back racing here at Daytona.
I do want to note here, I did see there's some cars right there in the back that didn't really join that pack right there. I guess they were still chasing up from the caution. I wonder if they're going to regroup or they're going to stay in that back pack back there.
Yeah, they're going to be short on time here to work their way back up through the field, as it's just a little bit of a breakaway here up at the front of the pack. About 10, 12 trucks there that are starting to break away. Samuel Joseph leading that outside lane. Chance Taylor getting a big push from teammate Tyler Justice on the outside, trying to work their way up through the front of the field. Justice now trying to find a way around, but Samuel Joseph, he is trying to control both lanes, drops down to the bottom. He's in front of Zachary Menace, but that's going to open the door for Taylor in the 14 up on the high side. Coming to the line, we are getting down to the end of this race. Just 6 laps to go here at Daytona.
And I am just on the edge of my seat right now. Literally anything could happen right now. They're wrecking. They are wrecking in the tri-oval right now. Oh my goodness. No caution.
No caution. Looks like just 1 or 2 trucks involved. We stay green here for the moment. This pack starting to get aggressive, putting the moves on. You can see Samuel Joseph jumps up to the top group, trying to find a way to break up that teammate tandem between the 33 and the 14. He moves up to the top side. Nothing really there as of yet, as it looks like Samuel Joseph is going to get shoved into the middle. That's Dyer up on the top side with a push from Thaddeus Friel. Brandon Wallace decides to go up to the top group as well. Samuel Joseph shuffled to the middle. He's hung out to dry. Nothing he can do about it. Going to have to try to regroup, and that's going to put Chance Taylor in control of this field, and he's got a teammate behind him.
Yeah, it's all about your teammates right now. It's all about who can push you, who can't push you. And right now, they're locked together right now like glue on a piece of paper.
Well, you can see if you're Chance Taylor, your best friend is that teammate you've got directly behind you. But here comes Bobby Bender, the guy that started to organize this entire race. He's in the 96. He's leading the top lane, trying to find his way up to the front of the pack. First time we've called his name this evening. Field coming up on a lap truck. He's going to stay to the top side. That is the 24 truck. Field tries to navigate. They're spinning back in the back of the pack. We'll see if that does trigger a caution flag here, or if race control is just going to let them run this out. Looks like they are not yet throwing the caution, content to let the field race it out. But man, business is certainly picking up here at the front of the field. Still see Bender up there trying to lead that top lane, trying to get that energy built. But the field still in control of Chance Taylor, as now it looks like Zachary Menace tries to move up to the top. Nothing there. He's going to get shuffled to the middle.
It is just so chaotic right now. Everybody's trying to make their final moves, and it just leaves Justice right there, like, you know, just on the outside, or on the inside, I mean, right there. It's there's just smoke everywhere. So much wrecking and chaos, and it's just, I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't even talk right now. I need to see what happens.
3 laps to go here at Daytona with all the money on the line. Chance Taylor still in the lead. Bobby Bender leading that outside lane. He's worked his way up even with the 3rd place truck on the bottom, getting a shove from Dyer behind, but almost got a little bit loose there through turns 1 and 2. Not quite able to hang on to it. That truck is dancing all over the track. Able to keep it in a straight line though, and now Jamie Lidke has worked her way up into that number 3 position. We'll see, is she content to ride behind the 33 of Justice for now, or is she going to try to move up to the top lane and carry that momentum? Coming through turns 3 and 4, it'll be 2 to go at the line this time by.
And I'm really curious to see how this outside lane is going to form, if it even does form. You know, they're still single file kind of here, trying to make an outside line happen. It's still kind of forming. I'm really curious if people are going to try going outside here to try to make a move.
Was the 96 goes around Bender. Goes airborne, spins down to the inside, back up onto the track. Caution flag is not displayed. We are still green. Trucks are starting to drop with these incidents. The field single file up at the front. This may play into the hands of Chance Taylor in the number 14 truck. He's got a teammate behind. Jamie Libke in 3rd. The 35 truck of Hal, first time we called his name this evening, is in 4th. Provo in 5th. You see Brandon Wallace in 6th. Yosef worked his way back up into the fray here. He moves up to the top. He's got Brandon Wallace in front of him. The 99 up to the top lane. White flag is out here at Daytona. We are racing back to checkers at the World Center of Racing.
And there is just, you know, this is the time to get stuff moving. This is the time to let everything loose, as we're just going 1 to go right here. So much action happening in a straight line, but will someone go on the outside?
Single file right now down the back straightaway. First truck out of line is going to be Lipke, looking to the top groove. The 35 going with her. The 08 of Provo gets shoved down to the apron. Lipke down to the outside of Tyler Justice. Uses a little bit of side draft, able to pull even. The 33, the 16, they are door banging just about through turns 3 and 4. Chance Taylor in the 14. He's got the checkered flag in his sights. He's got both lanes side by side behind him. They're not going to get there. Chance Taylor is your winner at Daytona as they go
my goodness,
across the line for the checkered flag.
Now that is how you finish at Daytona.
Wow, that was a finish. Chance Taylor, the winner of the 50-50 race, the winner of the $420. He brings it home. Started 35th on the grid here this evening. Led 10 laps. They all came at the end of the race, right when you need them the most. He comes home in first. Tyler Justice in the 2nd position, upside down in the air. Jamie Lipke rounds out your podium. She was upside down in the air too. But the night belongs to the 14 truck. He is the winner here this evening. Let's take one more look at this finish as they came back to the line here. And I mean, Chance Taylor did everything he needed to do on that lap, just kept it in line. They were 3 wide for 2nd, and maybe a little bit of net code, a little bit of little bit of something there back behind, but all the drivers just getting together there. Jamie Lipke ended up backwards in the catch fence, coming across the line, but still brings it home in third, even in the air.
Yeah, and that was just an insane finish right there. Just everybody flying in the air. That's going to make a great photo.
That is definitely going to make a good photo here at the end of it. But there you see Chance Taylor, shades of Dale Earnhardt in 98, doing the donuts across the Daytona logo here in the infield. He's going to burn it down and celebrate a well-earned, hard-fought victory here this evening in our 50-50 race. But folks, we're going to do a quick commercial break here, let you hear from some of our great league sponsors, and we'll be back to give you the full race rundown, try to get a word with our top three finishers here. Be right back with you after a couple of quick commercials.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
To Daytona International Speedway, where we just saw an absolutely phenomenal race and a really wild finish here for our 50-50 race this evening. Let's go ahead and give you the full race results to let you know where your favorite driver finished here this evening. Bringing home the win from 35th on the grid is going to be Chance Taylor. Tyler Justice comes home in second. Jamie Lipke rounding out your podium. We'll hear from each of those drivers here momentarily. In fourth place is going to be Tom Howell. Brian Provo rounding out your top five. Noah, your pick, Logan Threlkeld, he didn't win, but he comes home in sixth. Solid race for him here this evening. Samuel Joseph in the seventh position. Zachary Menace in eighth. Brandon Wallace in ninth. And Thaddeus Friel, I believe he may have been the second biggest mover of the evening behind Chance Taylor. He rounds out your top 10.
And then as we look through 11th through 20th here, we got Wesley Burke in 11th, Melissa Dyer in 12th, Andrew McGarrigle in 13th, with Frederick Seagraves Jr. in 14th, Kyle Deering in 15th, with Dave Calvert in 16th, Joshua Thornton in 17th, and George Jewell in 18th, and your pick, Charles Abert in 19th, and then Casey Jones in 20th.
In the 21st position is going to be Jason Kristen, with Jacob Linke in 27th. or in 22nd rather. Alan Smith in 23rd. Daniel Parks comes home in 24th. Jeremy Gardner 25th. 26th place is going to be Curtis Mitchell with Cody Anderson in 27th. Corinne Smith in 28th. Kevin Price 29th. And Gregory Vadnais in the 30th position.
And to round it out here, we got 31st Bill Mulfield, and the 32nd position Mark Holyfield. And in the 33rd spot, Bobby Bender. And there's something special about this 33rd spot, Daniel. Did you know that in the 33rd spot, because me and Dan, we did a random drawing, and we found out that the 33rd person to finish this race today would get their entry fee refunded to them. So congratulations to Bobby. You have gotten your entry fee reimbursed to you coming soon. And I want to thank Bobby for putting on this great race, because it was just phenomenal. Had a lot of fun. As we go right down the list here, we have Mike Browning in 34th, Patrick T. Wilkson in 35th, Cody Rogers in 36th, Michael John in 37th, Skylar Daly in 38th, Charles Feltz in 39th, with Hayden Muir in 40th, and to finish it off, Wyatt Dooling in the 42nd spot.
And that is the full race rundown here at Daytona. So we're going to go ahead and get a word, starting off with our race winner, Chance Taylor. Hey, this is the V-Speed booth. You got us, buddy?
Yeah, guys. How you doing?
Well, man, probably not as good as you're doing right now after you just went out and won the 50-50 race with a just really phenomenal drive there at the end. How did you end up getting up there? I mean, you started 35th on the grid. We didn't really call your name a whole lot until the end stages, which, hey, if that's the only time we're going to talk about you, that's a good time to do it. How'd you end up working your way up through the field here this evening?
Well, I wanted to start out back with my teammates here and work our way forward, and ended up linking up with Jeremy and Chuck and George, and finally made my way back up to Tyler, and he was in front, I think, pretty much the whole race. But I couldn't have done it without Tyler pushing me the last series there. I mean, it was intense. My heart was beating out of my chest.
And Chance, I gotta ask, everyone's curious. You just won the race. You just won 420 buckaroos. What are you gonna do with this money?
I'm gonna save it, put it in the bank.
That's a smart man right there.
Man, you ain't even going to buy yourself like a bottle of whiskey or nothing to celebrate with it? You got to at least have one splurge purchase or something, right?
Well, I may buy some new pedals from Jeremy there, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, man, well earned. Great job on the win here this evening. And before we let you go, who you want to thank, any sponsors for shout outs?
I'd like to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Indiana Department of Affairs, Jam Printing and Promotions, GLR, and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
All right. Well, congrats again on the win. Really solid run. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you some more once we get the regular season fired off here.
Certainly hope so.
All right. And that is our race winner, Chance Taylor. Let's go ahead and get a word with our second place finisher, Tyler Justice. Tyler, this is the V-Speed booth. You got a copy on us?
What's up, y'all?
Well, man, solid run. I know that part of you's got to be disappointed with second place, because I know you've told me before you get tired of finishing second. It happened to you a lot throughout the last season, but still, really solid run. You were up near the front all night. Going through the end of the race there, were you kind of content on just working with Chance Taylor? Because I know y'all have worked together a lot, or were you really just trying to plan out when you could try to make a move on him?
Yeah, I mean, second place is just becoming my thing now. I just finished second last night, now tonight. But yeah, I was with Chance, working with him. Jeremy was up there a little bit too. I was hoping Brandon Wallace would get up there, but he just never could make it up there to me. But I was content riding with Chance, just working with him, keeping that outside lane behind us, because I could push really good and not overtemp the truck, which was, I mean, if you were right on somebody the whole lap, are automatically overheating. But if there was a move on the coming out of 4, I would have taken it. But when Jamie got on my quarter panel, I was like, I'm just going to ride with Chance and, help a teammate win.
And Tyler, I'm just curious, because like Dan was saying, you're running up in the front. Is there any nerves at all when you're running up in the front like that? You got everybody behind you. Stuff could just happen up in the front. Are you nervous at all? When you're in that position?
Not really. I mean, you kind of expecting to being second that maybe you'll get hooked, but tonight for what we're doing out here and what the cause is, I mean, if there's nothing to get mad about if I did get hooked halfway through, because I mean, even if I did win, I was just gonna give it right back. So it wasn't no nerves. It was just fun. I was glad to be up front, pretty much a lot of the race. So it was just, just a good. I was just having a good time. It was fun drafting, moving, having to go through the different lines, figuring out who to work with. I know me and the 11 worked pretty good at the beginning. Then me and Chance and me and Jeremy got hooked up for a little bit, and I think Jeremy fell back. And me and Chance kind of hooked up the end. So it was just fun working with new people, seeing what line would go. So I was just having fun more than nervous.
Well, man, really solid run though for you. I mean, you were up there in the mix all evening long, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you more once the season fires off here. But before we let you go this evening, who you want to thank, any sponsors or shout outs?
Yeah, I hope to get there. I've had a few rough seasons in trucks lately, so hopefully get back 2 good races lately. But yeah, I just want to shout out first of all, Goat Locker, Pat, Jamie, Jake, everybody putting this together, raising money. It goes to a great organization, great cause, and really hope it goes to somebody who can really help them out, help another veteran, a first responder. Want to thank Jam Printing and Promotions, uh, V Speed, you guys. I can't wait to go back and watch it. I had so much fun racing. It's probably going to be an awesome watch on the way on the back end. And then Alexander PCs, as well as my guys over at Majors Garage and Majors Esports, uh, Big Fish Barbecue, and Lucas Lines 3D Designs, and the guys over at Save 22 and Bandits, because me and Brandon were trying to get hooked up, and I was glad to work with some of my teammates tonight. It was fun.
Yeah, well, glad you enjoyed yourself out there. You definitely gave us a lot to talk about. Congrats again on the second place, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening, bud.
Yeah, y'all. See y'all.
That was our second place finisher. We'll go ahead and bring up the final finisher on the podium, and that is Jamie Libke. Jamie, this is Daniel Noah and Eddie up in the booth. You got us?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going good. I mean, you had an absolute roller coaster of a race. You were running up near the front, had to go to the back after an incident, work your way back up to the front. And then, I mean, just kind of fitting for the rest of the evening. You end the race still on the podium, but upside down in the catch fence coming across the start finish line. What was your mindset trying to work your way back up through the field there after that early incident?
No, it's just typical Daytona. I didn't think anything of it. It's like, oh, well, I got involved with something and car's not too messed up. We can get it fixed and get back on track. And, didn't worry about it. Just try to keep your nose clean and keep it on the bottom so that way you got an exit if something happens.
And Jamie, one more question. I'm just so curious, because I know that kind of at the beginning of the race, I think it calmed down a little bit more. I noticed, we noticed you were blinking a little bit. I was just wondering how maybe that affects your racing, because I know, when you're so close to somebody, especially on Daytona, that can just be a really scary thing to come across.
The scariest thing I was worried about is, and I was notified by race control a couple of times, I was stuck on the high side when it got its worst, up in the front on the high lane, and it's like there's nowhere for me to go. Like I can't pull off. I've got cars beside me. I got cars behind me. I have nowhere to go. So fortunately, it all balanced out and worked out in the end. And I got to have a Ricky Bobby moment where I literally sat there and said, "Oh, I'm flying through the air. This ain't good."
Well, hey, if you're not going to win it, at least you put on a show for us, and it made it an exciting finish there. Definitely was not for lack of effort, but congrats on the third place. A really solid run for you. Before we let you go, who do you want to thank? Any sponsors or shout outs?
Ah, definitely got to thank iRacing for providing such an awesome service for us to race on. MK Fire Design, Sim Motion, and I suppose this isn't Save 22 series itself, but Save 22 is putting on our Premier Truck Series. So definitely got to give them a shout out. Oh, and also my teammates with SRP and friends that we had in the chat trying to help each other out and encourage us through the race.
All right. Well, congrats again on the solid run, and good luck in the upcoming season. I'm sure we'll be talking to you some more up here in the booth.
Oh, count on it.
And that is our third place finisher for the evening, Jamie Libke. And folks, that is going to do it. That is going to wrap up our coverage here for the 50-50 race this evening. And what a race we had. A lot of action out on the track, a lot of side-by-side, a lot of carnage at the end of the day. I mean, just you can't ask for much more out of a race than what we saw here this evening at Daytona. And if you're interested in joining, if you're interested in supporting the cause that Goat Locker has, definitely check out our social media pages, check out the Facebook, check out the website. There's a lot of information on there. Get involved in the Discord. We definitely want to see as many folks as we can, especially out of that veteran, active duty, and first responder community, get plugged in. And again, just support this mission that we've got over here at Goat Locker Racing. But folks, that is going to do it for our coverage here this evening. So on behalf of Patrick Drabick, Jamie Barkis, and everyone at Goat Locker Racing, for everybody at V-Speed, Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper, Morgan Cook, and of course, Eddie Smith here in the production booth this evening. And again, shout out to my colleague up here in the booth, Noah Hogard, and of course, Dougie Beard for those cam reviews. My name's Daniel Cunningham saying thank you for tuning in this evening. A new season of Goat Locker Racing is right around the corner. You'll be able to catch all the action right here on V-Speed. Good night, everyone, and we will see you next time.